Thanks for coming down to the police precinct. This is a taped recording inside the interrogation room. Of course, taxpayer dollars at work. We need a little fixing around here. But this is a busy job in the future. 2035. Cops are everywhere trying to determine what is human error or malfeasance and what is machine error. You, Kyle, are accused on the night, Valentine's Day, of killing your wife with a shoestring in order to receive her multi-million-dollar inheritance. We would like not to believe that, because in 2035, everything is sentient, is cybernetically wired, even and including tying your shoes.
My shoes are beautiful. They're just beautiful.
Officer Engoron, I believe you. I don't want to get into this on our detective time, but Officer Engoron, Kyle Smith, last name?
Smith.
Kyle Smith is accused in this sentient world of murder when there can be no murder. We have surveillance cameras everywhere. Anyone wouldn't dare to act in such a criminal way. Officer Engoron, I can't believe this strapping young gentleman would do this.
Why would you ruin those beautiful shoes?
Well, clearly the shoes are at fault here. I don't see how I can be tried on the
Officer Engoron, we should listen to him. Listen, Kyle, baby. We know that the machine on Valentine's Day, the most romantic day of the year, machines remind us all day long to find our significant other. Kyle, you wouldn't be perhaps a little bored with your current wife and therefore program into the machine a glitch. Would that kind of be a thing that you would consider?
Not at all. I'm not capable of programming a glitch, nor would I.
Officer Engoron, you say he's lying.
Did you do it?
No.
Take it easy, Officer Engoron. There are cameras everywhere seeing what we do. Officers in the precinct, what line of questioning can we make of this strapping young gentleman who doesn't seem like he has a mean bone in his body? What line of questioning? Officer, please.
I mean, if it was the case that he did it or not, like, if he was actually the one, or was it someone else who snuck in and wrote that line of code?
But our reason, Kyle Smith, for picking you up is that the logic follows that you have one of the only motivations. Your wife was rich, intelligent, beautiful. You had on the outside, because we've checked all the surveillance cameras of your whole life, an ostensibly happy marriage. She was a person that did not offend anyone else. I don't see, only because you would be the logical person to benefit from her death, to have her by computer strangled by her own shoestrings.
Well, I'm not the only person in my wife's life. Many people could have been after that money. It's a lot of money.
Eric, Professor Engoron, I leave the questioning up to you.
Did you have coding knowledge?
None at all.
And are my shoes beautiful? Yes or no?
They're gorgeous.
Are they beautiful?
Average at best.
Officer Engoron, you're baiting the subject here. He's here to answer the line of questioning of what happened on that night of February 14th. Other officers in the Officer Rohan, not Rohit, Rohan, line of questioning for the accused.
He says he's incapable of coding, but the most famous coder over time is Smith Kyle. Is it possible that the Smith Kyle is just an alias for Kyle Smith?
That's backing me into a corner with that one. It's totally possible. I mean, you could check, countless award ceremonies that he's been to that I have been nowhere near.
Officer Engoron, in this era of complete complexity, where every action of ours, including tying our shoelaces, is recorded in some sort of archive, is it possible that a mere mortal, strapping young man could be able to override the coding of the entire system of Sentient City in order to murder his wife?
Yes, that is possible. If you look at the records, he went off the grid at the time of his wife's murder.
Ah.
How'd you do it?
Kyle Smith, could we have an answer to that?
How'd you do it?
I work in a factory. Lots of heavy machines. Lots
so
of
you admit
signals
you went
flying
off the
around.
grid? You admit
It's easy
it.
to have a signal block when you're working in a giant factory full of machines.
But it's everywhere. Computers are everywhere.
Well, Officer Engoron, what does it mean to go off the grid anymore?
He couldn't be found by the computers.
Well, that's
The
tantamount,
sentient
as
being.
we discovered in the last science fiction episode, that's tantamount to a crime
That
of the
is-
first degree.
that is true.
Officer Alexi, weigh in on this subject.
Why don't you, instead of harassing him and accusing him directly, why don't you ask him if he had any problems in his personal life or his work life?
Kyle Smith, we even have records of the most intimate corners of your boudoir. From all evidence, and we don't look at these tapes, all evidence, you had a completely blissful conjugal relationship with your wife. Why and how, as Officer Alexi attests, why not ask you directly, was there any, or is it in human nature to have any wrinkle in any relationship at all?
It's a part of a healthy relationship, I would say, is to have a little bit of a bumpy ground. But you say you have all this information. You say you've seen most of it.
It's
How
a sentient
deep
city.
is this?
We have cameras everywhere. We record every snooze you make, every breath you take. Some would say here that this is a bit constricting. Officer, weigh in on that. Should we not have places where people can go to be in complete isolation, especially married couples?
Their bedroom.
We have cameras there. This is only the law.
Oh, yes.
It's like that movie, what was it? Her. Weigh in on this, officer.
A close friend of Kyle said that he was a very jealous person. Could he have tried to program the shoelaces to track his wife, but he used the wrong algorithm? So
Oh, and he's exercising malfeasance towards someone else?
no, I mean, he used the wrong algorithm for the...
Oh, you just intended to perfect the tying of shoes for your dear wife. Could Officer Engoron, you know a thing or two about computing and code. Is this possible?
That is entirely possible. He just put a 1 where a 2 was supposed to be, and that's it. She's dead.
Would this, of course, you don't seem very upset at the recent demise of your dear spouse, Kyle Smith. Making a mistake, would you feel remorse over that?
Of course, but I wouldn't go near her shoes. Kept
Did
them
you
Besides,
like
you
your
wore
factory
high
job?
heels. Right?
Did you like your factory job that you said you were off the grid for?
Puts bread on the table.
But you're
Did
married
you
to a
resent-
millionaire, Kyle Smith. Are you just doing this out of self-respect to be a working, productive individual?
I come from a working class family. I don't know why I wouldn't.
Officer Engoron, are there any other cross-examinations you would like to make of this suspect?
Did you not ever once think that you would like to quit your factory job?
Sure, once or twice. The hours are rough, and it's not exactly the best
But you
pay.
wouldn't have access to that money unless your wife was dead. Is that
Officer
true?
Engoron, he could sit around the house watching daytime TV and eating bonbons.
But that's not what he did.
You're correct. I think you're ambitious, and that ambitiousness leaked over into willing the demise of your wife, even to the extent of erasing the effects of how that would be. Could this be something from your subconscious coming up, and you subconsciously put those numbers in the wrong place?
You would have to question my subconscious.
Any officers wish to do that? I think because we lack evidence, we should, we're not a court of law, but we should put him out on the street under surveillance. You will be questioned further when we knew. Officer Engoron, any further questioning?
No further questioning.
Let's give the suspect a hand. See you next week.